What if I told you that if you fell in love with the process and divorce yourself from the results, your business would change overnight? Let's talk about this. One of the things that I found over the last 40, 50 years of being in corporate America, being in business, just taking the time to learn and understand and be involved with building my business was that I could either be so tied to the results that everything I did was dependent on that. And if those results didn't happen the way I thought they were going to happen, then it was amazing how bummed I would be, how despondent I would be. I won't say depressed, but it was like, oh, what's going on? And I remember a few years back, I got involved with a network marketing company. And I'd asked my mentor, and my mentor was someone that hadn't been doing network marketing as long as I had, but had way more success. So, I've always was taught that find someone that's gone where you want to go, done what you want to do, and take some advice from them and get them to mentor you, right? So I asked him, his name was Robert, and I said, Robert, what do I need to do? I just got started in the business, and he said, say as little as possible to as many as possible, as quick as possible. And I said, okay, what do I say? And he said, say as little as possible to as many as possible, as quick as possible. I said, okay, Robert, I understand, but what do I say? And he said, you're not listening. You need to say as little as possible to as many as possible, as quick as possible. And I said, well, yeah, I understand that, but what do I say? Is there some script or something? And he kind of looked at me like, well, no, I don't know who your audience is, and you need to say what is appropriate to your audience and talk to your audience and hit their pain points and find out what they need, right? Like, okay. So I went out to Messenger and started messaging people. One of the things I disliked the most. But I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. So I did 10 people the first day because I didn't want to go overboard and get, put in Facebook jail or Messenger jail or my account, closed down or anything like that. And we talked the next day, and he said, well, what did you do? I said, yeah, I messaged 10 people. And he said something to me that really hit home with me because it wasn't something I like to do, but I wanted the results. And I was so tied to the results. He said, Ron, you've got to master the mundane, the things that you don't like. You need to flip that switch and fall in love with those things. And by the way, 10's not saying say a little to a lot. That's not a lot, okay? So then I bumped it up to 25, and then I bumped it up to 50, and then I bumped it up to 100. Well, by the time I got to 100, and my whole mind shift had changed, and all of a sudden I wasn't even really thinking about the results anymore. I was just getting up every day going, okay, this is getting fun, I got to do this. And when I got to that point, I started getting so many responses back that it was hard for me to message 100 people anymore. But I kept doing it, right? Well, it turned out in 19 days, I rank advanced 6 ranks in that company and went on to be one of the leaders for a short period of time. And we had some really, really great success. Built a big organization. The company featured my wife and I in a 2-page article in a magazine. We spoke on stage at a couple of events. And but the again, the thing that really hit home with me was I needed to fall in love with the process and just divorce myself from the results. Because the power of that process and the power of just taking hold of it and just engaging in it and encompassing it and devouring it and making it the most important thing is so incredibly powerful. Now, I'm not suggesting that you do this and you're going to be $1 million earner in the next 2 days, but it will change a lot of things. It'll change your mindset and your mentality of how you're doing this. It'll take away that challenge that you have that says, okay, I'm not getting the results. I'm not getting the results. Maybe, and the thing I find that is so detrimental to people is they do something for a couple of days, for maybe a week, and then it's like, oh, that's not working. I'm not getting the results. I got to change it. And I got to change it. And part of falling in love with the process and the power of that process and that journey is the consistency and the commitment to do it regardless, right? So many people I find that try things, and that's the biggest issue is they try it. They just try it. They don't commit to it. They don't say, look, I'm going to do this. And it's when when it's the process changes for you, when instead of you being the hunter, you become the hunted. All of a sudden you find that people are reaching out to you and you start getting excited about that. Now, will the results come? Of course they will, right? Think about the example of the farmer, right? The farmer goes out. I grew up on a farm, and we used to plant acres and acres of vegetables and corn and just all kinds of different things. All right, so let me tell you real quick about the system that we have where you can start your own business for as little as $150. I'm not kidding. Now, let's talk a little bit about what that gets you. Okay. So start your own business for as little as $150. Here's what you're going to get: your own product. Okay. So it's not something that you put together, it's something that someone else put together that you have the ability to sell. Okay. Now, what we normally would call that is affiliate marketing. This is something that happens all the time. Everybody's doing it, right? The next thing you get is you're going to get me to set up your funnel and your email campaign and everything you need to get started for absolutely free. Now, I normally charge um, close to $200 to do that for other people that are coming in that haven't purchased from me that want to set up. You're going to make 100% of the sale of that product that you have, right? Now, you're going to have options to have 4 products or more, but depending on what you do, you will get 100% of any one of those products, right? You're going to be able to start doing what you love for profit, right? Because this course that you're going to be selling also is going to teach you not only how to sell the course, but how to sell anything that you want, whatever your passion is, whatever it is that you want to do, right? I'm going to give you access to our community of like-minded entrepreneurs that are all working on going through getting their passion online, getting their business going online, helping others, serving others, and so forth. You're going to be able to tap into my 40 years of experience to accelerate your success and so much, much more. I've got a couple of video hubs that I will just keep adding to in the community with training videos and mindset videos and marketing videos and technology videos. All of this are going to be there for you to get started. And this is all for as little as $150. Now you can get more, but for as little as $150, you can start now, start today at rondeering.com/discovery call. Reach out to me, set an appointment. We'll sit down and talk, figure out what's the best place for you to go, and we'll get started right off the bat. So you can end your 2025 or end whatever year you're watching this in, or make whatever year you're in watching this, 2026, the best year that you've ever had. Allow me to take the multitude of years that I've had doing this, the multitudes of success of people, the multitude of people that I've helped have success, and help you for as little as $150. God bless you. I hope to see you on the next success story. God bless you. But never once did we plant and then a few days later go dig them up and see if they were growing, right? We knew that there was a process, so we had to get excited about getting up every day and making sure everything was watered and weeding when it was necessary when they were young and making sure everything was done on a daily, weekly basis while the results were in the process of happening. But we couldn't worry about that because sometimes, some years you had a bad crop and some years you just had an overwhelming crop, but the process was what you continued to commit to. And if you didn't, you knew the results were going to be really bad, right? But you needed to do that. And you couldn't circumvent it. You couldn't shortcut it. You couldn't do something that, would make it go any faster. It was just what had to be done. And we'd get up every day. I remember getting up to go to school in the mornings, and we'd go take care of the horses and the chickens and the sheep, and then we go. And when we got home at night, we'd go out to the acres and where the crops were and stuff, and we'd do whatever needed to be done there. And that was the process that we had to do. You couldn't do anything other than that process. And it would be silly if you saw somebody, like digging up the plant and looking to see, how far it got along, and then planting it back down in there. So we have to be able to just fall in love with that process, right? The greatest form of discipline is the discipline that's invisible. And that's the thing that is so hard for most people. It's what we do is that's so important is what we do when no one's around, right? What we do when there's nobody watching, no one cheering us on or anything like that. So, you've got to decide when you get up in the morning, what am I going to be in love with doing today? What am I going to be excited about doing today? Because if you get up every day and the first thing you do is look at your results, and they're not the way you want them to be, they're not as good as they should be, or maybe they're nothing, and that's going to depress you and tear up the rest of your day, then you're going to be losing out. Okay. And you don't want that to happen. One of the things that I love doing is teaching people and taking them to that next level. And I would encourage you to take the time to get better at what you do. It's an old cliche. It's not the destination, it's a journey. And you've probably heard that 1,000 times. But I can tell you now at 73, it is the most important thing. The destination, I know, for those of you who are followers of Christ and have that salvation that he's so freely offered, we know what our destination is. But this journey right now is so very important and so very, very powerful. It's the process. And if you are not taking the time to enjoy that process, to perfect that process, to master the process, then I can promise you, you're probably taking more time being unhappy about the results that you don't know or don't think you're getting. We can't stop the things that are happening along the way. What we can do is handle the things that we do. I have no control over the results. No matter how hard I work or how much I do something, I still don't know exactly what the results are. Now, there are some things that you do, right? I'm driving down the road and I turn the wheel, the steering wheel. I know the car is going to go to the right or the left. I step on the brake and hopefully the car is going to stop and all of that. But that's not the process that you're looking for in the results, right? So I beat on this enough, but I encourage you, take the time when you get up in the morning and be excited. Master the mundane, but don't only master it. Enjoy it. Realize that this is part of the journey, and it can be so exciting or it can just be so devastating for you. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with people and they've said, "Oh, Ron, nothing's happening." And, well, how many times have you done this today? How many times have you, put content up? How many people have you helped? And how many things have you done? Well, yeah, but I haven't done as much as I should, but but I'm not getting any results, so it's depressing, or people that have gotten involved in network marketing or affiliate marketing or their own business, and they feel like, okay, I just am not getting, the results, and I don't know if I should do this anymore. So if you learn one thing today, learn the power of the process is probably one of the most important things that you can do to make your business work. Fall in love with the process, divorce yourself from the results. Doesn't mean you don't want to track things and tweak things along the way and everything when you get those results. But don't let the results drive your mental mindset and your attitude and what you're doing. Let the process do that. Get up every day, excited about what God's given you, excited about where God's taking you, excited about the journey and the process He wants you to go through. And I promise you, life will be significantly happier. God bless you. I can't wait to see you on the next one.